Thanks for joining us here at 11. I'm John Adams. Our top story takes us to Washington County, where sheriff's deputies are investigating a hit-and-run crash that broke a person's leg. It happened just before 2 this afternoon near the intersection of Northwest Shadow Hills Lane and Oak Knoll Place. Multiple people called 911 after seeing a dark SUV speeding before they hit a person and then drove away. Deputies believe the vehicle is a Jeep Grand Cherokee SRT. If you know anything about this car or the driver, call the sheriff's office. Their number is right there on the screen. New tonight out of Washington, a driver is in custody for vehicular assault after causing a crash on southbound I-5 earlier tonight. It happened sometime just before 7:30 and fully blocked the on-ramp from Dyke Road. The car that was hit ended up falling about 200 feet down an embankment. That driver and a passenger were rescued and taken to the hospital. No word on if the on-ramp's been reopened. Crews continue working on cleaning up several roads in the Portland area that remain closed due to landslides. PBOT says all of these listed roads will stay closed through tonight. Crews will get back to work on the slides tomorrow. PBOT also saying the Southwest Fairmont slide may be an extended closure. They want to remind people, for your own safety, obey all road closures. And an update on flooding in Columbia County that forced dozens out of an RV park. The county's emergency management saying today waters have receded enough that people can return to the River's Edge RV park in Clatskanie. Shelter and relocation help stopped at noon today, but emergency management says people who still need help can reach out to them. All right, let's take a live look outside right now over the Rose City. We have less than 1 week of winter remaining, but we're going to get a jump start on some spring weather. Meteorologist Joe Ranieri is joining us tonight. Joe, we're going to see that warm-up start as early as tomorrow afternoon, right?
Exactly. I'm going to show you how warm it's going to get. This model is showing temperatures flirting with 70 degrees. Now, a few locations in the central and southern part of the Willamette Valley could get that warm, but here locally, I think we'll be waking up to morning clouds, a few light rain showers here and there, but once we get into the later part of the afternoon, we're going to be warming up very nicely and be feeling more like a end of April, early kind of May temperatures. But we do have a little bit of some spotty showers that are rolling in here kind of late this afternoon and here and there throughout the evening hours. That will continue into the overnight hours, but rainfall amounts really won't be adding up much. This is kind of what we saw earlier today, just 1/100th of an inch of rain. A lot of locations just right around that trace amounts kind of rainfall. But going into tomorrow morning, yeah, once we get into basically the later part of the morning, we're going to be seeing these clouds lift. We're going to be seeing nothing but sunshine up and down the I-5 corridor. And there will be a threat of some light showers the next couple of mornings. But in terms of rainfall, it's not going to be anything like what we experienced last week. And the official start, rather, of spring starts Friday morning at 7:46. And a lot of people are looking forward to it, including myself. I'll talk more about your detailed forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thanks so much. We'll see you soon. The new alarm bells from the CEO of the country's biggest airlines urging Congress to end the DHS shutdown as travelers navigate major delays and TSA workers miss their first full paychecks. Aaron Gilchrist has that story.
Travel trauma impacting airports across the country tonight. Passengers recording long lines at TSA pre-checks from Austin to Philly and similar scenes from Houston to Atlanta.
It's crazy. I'm really disappointed.
It is stressful for sure. And even more stressful for the people who aren't getting paid and are at work.
After TSA workers got a $0 paycheck on Friday, the major airlines now ratcheting up pressure on Congress to reopen the Department of Homeland Security. The CEOs writing in a letter, Americans who live in your districts and home states are tired of long lines at airports, travel delays, and flight cancellations caused by shutdown after shutdown. In the month since DHS funding lapsed, more than 300 TSA agents have quit, many of the remaining agents calling out and picking up odd jobs to make ends meet. The Transportation Secretary calling on Democrats to end their protest over immigration enforcement and vote to restore Homeland Security dollars.
We can get to a better place if they would just come to their senses and negotiate after they open it up.
The airline's predicting a record 171 million passengers will fly this spring and are asking lawmakers to approve a bill protecting TSA worker pay in future shutdowns. Meanwhile, security lines snake in and outside the Fort Lauderdale airport and all through ATL, with travelers doing their best to fly above the chaos.
I just appreciate those that are still with TSA remaining on the job, so yeah, I can wait.
Airports are advising passengers to arrive as much as 3 hours before departure to allow enough time to clear security as delays continue. Here's a look at flypdx.com today, where we can say there were 15 delayed flights and 7 flights that were canceled. Back in our area, Congresswoman Maxine Dexter held a town hall in Happy Valley this afternoon. The Democrat took questions from the crowd about a number of topics, including artificial intelligence, public school funding, housing affordability, and the war with Iran. Dexter also spoke about declining economic opportunities for American workers, which she says are caused in part by high health insurance costs, rising prices due to corporate greed, and a number of other factors.
I was a working class kid who thought if you worked hard and played by the rules that you'd be able to make a better life for yourself. And that has been my reality. But in one generation, that's completely changed. And so we have to get back to actually empowering working people.
The town hall comes a week after the Congresswoman voted for a resolution directing President Trump to stop hostilities against Iran. In Salem, a woman was found dead this morning after she was reported missing. Salem police say 93-year-old Hisako Gans never returned from an early morning walk. With the help of a tracking canine, they found her about 200 yards away from her family's apartment, which is near the intersection of Gaffin Road Southeast and Cordon Road Southeast. At this point, there's no criminal investigation. We have some new info today on a rescue of a few teenage hikers that happened yesterday in Lincoln County. North Lincoln Fire Rescue said they were called around 4 yesterday afternoon after a hiker slipped and fell down a steep cliff face in the God's Thumb area of Lincoln City. 2 other hikers stayed at the top of the cliff but weren't able to reach the one who fell. Witnesses who saw the fall helped guide first responders, and they used the help of a Coast Guard helicopter to make that rescue. The one who fell was treated and then reunited with the 2 others. Nearly 20,000 people were off to the races in their St. Patty's Day best this morning as part of Portland's annual Shamrock Run. Jake Holter brings us a closer look at the race.
A river of green as runners and walkers worked their way through the 5 different courses at the 48th annual Shamrock Run. This year's Shamrock Run through Portland, a big hit with thousands running and thousands more spectating. We caught up with the women's half marathon champion, Ava Scott.
It was very fun. I mean, the energy is really great. Just like seeing the whole race behind you. It was a good time. Good competition out there.
And while Scott is an experienced runner, running newcomer Gabby Quall says she's proud of her progress.
I just started running about a year or so ago and just kind of figuring that out. So I'm still pretty slow, but I wanted something a little more challenging than the 5K, but not ready for a half marathon. So I decided the 8K.
Others who chose not to run this year continuing their own Shamrock Run traditions.
We have corned beef and like half.
Diana Kirkpatrick and Michelle Preston set up their Shamrock Run tailgate at around 6 Sunday morning, something they've been doing for the past decade.
It's just such good camaraderie out here, and there's so many people and everybody's excited, and it's really fun.
And speaking of camaraderie, last year the Shamrock Run Fest launched She-Rock, an initiative dedicated to supporting girls in running. Jake Holter, KGW News.
The festivities didn't stop with the Shamrock Run today. Earlier this afternoon, the 37th annual St. Patty's Day Parade was held. They met outside the Beverly Cleary School at Northeast 33rd and Hancock, went for a little more than a half mile to Northeast 17th, and then looped it all back to where it started. While not as big of a crowd as the run this morning, it continues to draw visitors young and old.
First time here, yeah, but having fun, living it up with the family, with my friends, so it's been a great time.
So I started this 37 years ago with my lovely and talented wife Julie here because her family is Irish. And there's only one time a year that I get to call myself Irish, and that's on parade day.
Well, that gentleman says the parade never gets old, even after 37 years of attending.